Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. The world we live in is full of poetry. You can even say that the world itself is a poem. It was the great Plato who said that poetry is nearer to vital truth than history. Another wise man described poetry as the evidence of life. He said, if your life is burning well, poetry is just the ash. You have to admire poets. They craft words in ways that the rest of us can only imagine. Our guest today is a poet. His name is Obiora Momife, and is the author of 4 books of poetry: Eyes of the One Who Loves, So Far Away, Roses and Thorns, and Where Two Roads Meet, and other poems. Obiora's story is inspiring and his poetry is thought-provoking. He joins us to share his experiences and his views about writing poetry. But before we get into his interview, please listen to what you will often find listed as one of the greatest poems ever written. It's titled The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, the legendary American poet who wrote his famous poem in 1916. When we return, we'll have Obiora.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I shall ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Obiora, nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us.
Wonderful. I've been longing to be here.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4 books.
Yes.
On poetry. Do you have more?
Manuscripts.
How many more?
3 manuscripts.
I have the utmost respect for you.
Thank you very much.
And you've written, and they're all about poetry.
Yes, yes. Well, I have some short stories I have in my mind to produce at films or movies, but still working on them.
Still working on them.
Yes.
Convert them into, sell them as movie scripts.
Or even do them myself when I'm able to raise the money, because I'll be able to do it to get it out as I want.
Okay. But, I mean, I've got this perception that there are not many fans of poetry out there in Nigeria. Is it a wrong perception? Or is there some, I mean, is there some truth, reality to it?
I think you're right. Basically, because I think we are very emotional people. We do not really go deep into the area of being rational. I mean, rational as in reasoning and deep thinking. Because before a poet writes, he writes with something deep in his mind, and until you're able to think deeply, to go into that depth, you won't be able to decode what
like you, yeah, decode, yes.
Yeah, it's
like you need to decode poetry.
Absolutely, you need to decode. But the point is, you must not decode what the author had in mind. You could also interpret it as it suits you.
As it suits you.
It's like a mirror. the face you see in the mirror is the face you see.
This is a lot of poetry. And you've got 4 books. You've got 2 extra manuscripts.
Yeah.
You know, despite that reality out there, you keep churning your poetry out. You keep publishing poetry. What's the motivation then?
Sometimes there are things in your mind you want to communicate, and you are communicating and people are not listening. They don't understand. Today, I made a post. The post on Facebook, it's a response from a friend's post. We're talking about why men sleep with the house helps. Now, this is the problem. Men sleep with the house helps. Men sleep around. Whether with house helps or friend of wives or sister-in-laws, it's a problem. Now, I went on to prefer solutions. And one of my solutions was, if you are a wife, be smart, like the lioness that protects her territory. Now, I got barrage of attacks that I am supporting men to sleep around. Now, we forget the problem that men sleep around. What is the solution?
Yeah.
Talk about the solution, but we don't talk about solution. We talk about emotions. We bias, we attack the one who attempt to bring solution.
So the real issue was lost in all the emotions.
We always lose the issue.
And then you became the accused.
Of course, absolutely. And I'm taking time to explain to people that.
So situations like that then make you, you know,
definitely,
voice yourself in your poetry
with the paper
and all that. So you poets are not. You are very. In a way, they are very idealistic.
Idealistic, yes. You want.
It's like you live in a realm above